Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Sportingistas all over the world. Welcome back to another edition of the Sporting160EN Podcast. Today is podcast number 7, if I'm not mistaken. And I got my usual guests. I got my boy Bruno with me. Bruno, what's going on, bro?
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? Little heartbroken today, but all is well.
Yeah, that's me too. That's me too. And we also got Steph here. Steph, how's it going, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. 2 games, 2 victories, even though we were eliminated. But today we'll be so throughout the podcast.
Yeah, yep, exactly. So let's start it off right away. We're gonna talk about the Paços Ferreira game. Sporting won 2-0 at home against Paços Ferreira. Our starting 11 was Rui Patricio. The backline consisted of Marcos Acunha, Mathieu, Sebastian El Patron Coates, Stefan Ristovski. In the midfield, we had Vendel for his starting debut. We had Bataglia, Bruno Fernandes, Brian Ruiz, Gelson Martins, and up front we had Big Bad Bas Dost. Steph, give me your 2 cents on the game. What did you think of it, and how did we play?
Okay, the game. I didn't watch the game live. I when I got home, then I recorded the game and then I watched the game. So it's not the same as watching it live. That when once you know the result, you're pretty much watching it with like more relaxed because you already know the final result. But anyway, um, different attitude from the players, like I expected. Um, they played well, better as a team, more focused, no major mistakes. Liked it very much. The 2-0 could have been easily 3-4-0. Um, and let's not forget, Paços Ferreira just beat Football Club Porto not too long ago. So
Yep.
that's a good team. I don't think bullshit. It's not. Every time we win against a social team, everybody says they're not a good team. But so I know it's fresh on people's memories. That's actually a pretty good team. They've been playing good whole team. What a response to the that developed the last couple of weeks. Um, Consistency was key. Playing like a team was key. Bas Dost, once again, when you cross him the balls, he knows how to score, and just phenomenal. Brian Ruiz again, another great goal. He kept his composure. He picked the side of the goal, and he scored with a lot of class. So very happy with that win. It was the proper response to that game. The only thing I didn't like is the booing to our president. Uh, we we at Sporting, it's a club with democracy. We entitled to our own opinion, of course. Um, Fans were not happy. I don't live in Lisbon. They see it every day what's going on. I read it off the newspapers, and but I think the name calling, especially if you want to whistle and boo, that's fine, I guess. You're demonstrating how you feel about the whole situation. But the name calling, why? Why the hell would you call names to our president? He's still our president, so we have to respect him. I didn't like Gutin Lopes that much, but he was our president, and I respected him. Bentancur, the Queen, I didn't like him too much as president of sport. I've always called him president. I never called him Bruno. And the respect is a beautiful thing. And to my Portuguese nations, my Portuguese, you know, we have to show respect to our president. We have to support him. This is the time we support him now. But enough about that. But the game itself, I was watching final result, and what a performance. So, how about you, Bruno?
Yeah. Yeah. when I first saw, I guess the fans booing and whistling, I was, I guess, a little frustrated, but at the same time, I mean, I can understand because of everything of all the drama that's been happening. Um, like you said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just don't think they were right in doing it. The man's our president. Um, it's kind of hard to say they should show respect because at times I guess in his presidential campaign or since he's been president, there's been times where I guess he hasn't shown, respect with all these posts and all that stuff. But you could tell that it definitely lit a fire in the players. There was a strong performance from the team. Passos didn't really create too much trouble. There were a couple of saves that Patricio made, but for the most part, he had it. I mean, it was pretty much cruise control. I love that Wendell was finally in the starting 11. Looked very promising. I think with with more playing time, he's only going to get better. Brian Reese keeps on putting good performances. Was happy to finally see him score again. Very nice finesse shot into the left corner, and Bastos with the first goal. I mean, it was easy. It was an easy win. I kind of expected Bastos to be a little scrappy because they are fighting for the relegation, I believe. So it's always going to be a little tough playing those teams late in the season. But I think Sporting handled it very, very well. I just thing that sticks out to me the most, I guess, is just the way that the fans handled, I guess, the Bruno Carvalho situation. But again, they're entitled to, however they want to demonstrate, I guess, their protest, you can call it. But uh, I don't think by any means he should stop continuing to be our president. That's just my opinion. Everyone's entitled to theirs. But let's not forget, like I said, where Sporting was 5 years ago. It's not easy to make that turnaround when we were financially struggling. We couldn't keep players. I remember we had Bruma that year, and we let that gem go. And ever since then, Bruno Carvalho has done a very good job with our youth and securing them with these release clauses. As crazy as they might be, if you're not paying close to the release clause, you're not going. And I think he's done a phenomenal job at that. I think in order for there, I guess, to be peace, if that's what you want to call it, I think he needs to stop being on social media. I think he needs to stop responding to so many sporting fans. I forget who it was on Sporting160. I don't know if it was João or Zé who was saying that one fan doesn't speak out for all of us. You know what I mean? So he doesn't need to reply to everybody. You know, we all know how much of a fan he is. He needs to find that balance of being a fan, when to be a fan, and when to be a president. And if he can do that, I don't see any reason as to why this man should not continue to be our president. But that's just my opinion on the whole thing. Danny, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, you guys hit it spot on. I was just about to say the same thing that you did. That I think it was Zach that said it, where he was saying how.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think it was Zach, and he said that Bruno Carvalho tends to answer the 10% that are criticizing him. That we can tell by the last election, those 10% who they voted for, and the 90% who they voted for. You know what I mean? So he constantly, tries to talk to the 10% where. He's kind of dismissing the 90 that are already, in for him and that, agree with him and see his point of view and, are on his side. And that's really my only criticism on, after the last video that we made that Bruno Carvalho was done. Just because he doesn't, I understand that the fans were in the wrong for saying the word, for calling Bruno Carvalho what they called him. Must be very short-term memory, and they must have forgotten, or maybe they liked being a team that came 7th place. Maybe they liked being a team that didn't compete at all, financially and athletically, sportively, whatever the word is. So I get that, you don't call them that, but at the same time, the president has to act in a different way, because at the end of the day, these guys, whether they're wrong or right, they're still Sporting fans. Some of them may be sócios. So at the end of the day, you're still their president. So, to sort of not throw them under the bus, but say the certain things that he said, like don't call your family members that, don't call me that, blah blah blah. I didn't like. But that's about it. I feel, like we mentioned last video, I think what Bruno Carvalho said wasn't anything necessarily that harmful and maybe needed to be said, as we can see from the Pastors game and this game today. Going back to the Pastors game real quick, Steph did a pretty good recap of it. The only complaint I have towards that is at the end, that maybe the last 10 minutes, the Paços Ferreira goalkeeper came off during an injury and they had no one else to substitute in. So they had a player in net and Sporting refused to shoot. I think Sporting should have went for the kill. Let's not forget we have Braga still chasing our tail. Not that I think they'll catch up with us, but we need a better goal difference as it is. That was a perfect opportunity to maybe put in another 2 or 3, or not 2 or 3, but another goal or two. I think it would have been the perfect opportunity for it. Getting back to the game, I just want to read some stats here from Wendell, our debutant, our much anticipated player. He had a 100% success rate, 1 tackle done throughout the game, and 1 dispossession throughout the game. Steph, what did you think of our young crack that has the potential to take on the world? What did you think of his first game starting for Sporting?
It was a very pleasant surprise. If he started the game, it's because JJ feels like he understands the chemistry of the team, the tactics, and he showed it throughout the game that he'll be a superstar. He'll be good to go pretty soon. The Paços Ferreira's game was a perfect game to put him on the pitch, and he had a pretty good performance. I'll need to see a few more games to fully see his total repertoire. But what I've seen against Paços Ferreira, I was very pleased. So I was very content that JJ actually took the initiative to start him up on the team, and that's it. So I think he'll have a bright future at Sporting, and I'm expecting great things from this young kid. Don't forget, he's very young,
mm-hmm.
and he has the intentions to make the Seleção do Brazil. So, with that said, if he wants to make the national team of Brazil, he's going to have to perform. So, it's a win-win situation for him and a win-win situation for Sporting for 2018 and 19. I mean, there's only a few games left in the Liga NOS. The most important game all of a sudden to us will be Wednesday against Football Club Porto for the Portuguese Cup. But we'll talk about that, of course. But yeah, I think he played well, good enough. But and I think we'll see some more progression as he plays more and more games and gets to know his teammates.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think Wendell was one of the best ones moving the ball, definitely, on Paços Ferreira game. Let's see. I don't really have much else to add. Bruno, do you have anything else to add about this Paços Ferreira game? Maybe who your man of the match was or anything like that?
As far as my man of the match, if I had to pick one, I'd either pick Bataglia or even Brian Ruiz. I think Brian Ruiz has put in a very, very strong month with his not just this game, but his past performance, and even in the game today that we'll touch in a little bit. But I think Brian Ruiz has answered his critics. I think we've all been very tough on him. I guess we kind of forgot how impactful he can be, like he was. I think it was 2 years ago when we were pretty much had the title won up until the end. And he had an exceptional season. I think if Brian Ruiz, like I said on another podcast, if he would have played from the beginning of the season, instead of this question mark being thrown over his head, is he staying, is he going? I think he could have been played a lot, be more of a key player, I guess, in this team. And if he returns next year, I wouldn't mind at all. especially because it'd give us another player to rotate. So, I mean, he's definitely put in performances these past months that, I have absolutely no problem if he does return next year.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Brian Ruiz has been sound out this month especially. I think I just wanted to mention before we forget, or maybe it was been mentioned in the past, but I didn't hear it. Just a Bruno Fernandes appreciation comment right now. This kid can pass the ball with his feet. He can even get an assist with his head, as we've seen against Paços Ferreira for the first goal. Lovely assist from Bruno Fernandes. Keep it up, kid. Steph, any last words on the Paços Ferreira game before we move on? Anything at all? It could be with Bruno Carvalho as well, and even the game itself.
Well, the only thing we'll talk about Bruno Carvalho, like we said before the podcast,
yeah, later on
in more detail. But because it's linked to that game, the reason why he said what he said, which he shouldn't have said, I agree, because even João Pedro said no Sporting160EN, they hit right on the head of the nail. He shouldn't have said what he said. Eu não sou da vossa família. Yeah, we are. Because so Sportingista, we are part of your family.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we think. So just because a Sportingista doesn't see the same way I see it, he's still a Sportingista. Like PMR, o Pedro Madeira Rodrigues. I'm not a big fan of him, but he's a Sportingista. So he owes my respect. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So when he was saying that, I think he was mentioning that to those, what he considers the 10%. Not necessarily every Sportingista, but the opposition. Because in his mind, like, if you read his posts on Facebook, the last ones, because now he closed his Facebook page, and that was a good move. He did mention specifically in the stadium where the noise was coming from. And those specific areas of the stadium, that's where the opposition is. So I don't think he meant that to all the Sportingistas. It was just to those very few. Just to make it clear why he said what he said. He didn't mean it to me, you, or the majority of the stadium. It was more in direction of that specific crowd that has those signs saying Rua, the meat. It was specifically for those minority. But nevertheless, he shouldn't have said it, because as Sportingista, even if they don't like him, and him as the president, he has to take the high road. And a perfect example that I believe it was Pedro, he mentioned on Sporting160EN, he said after Barcelona was eliminated from the playoffs, the president of Barcelona went to Twitter and he said, hey, it's in moments like this that we have to stick together with the club and the fans. And then he took a look at the comments, and you still have Barcelona fans calling him Filha da Puta, because he said what he said. It doesn't matter if you say hey or nay, you're still going to be criticized. But as the president, you always have to support your fans, even the ones that don't like you. So, and I agree with what you said. What you mentioned was Numa Assembleia, that it was focusing more on three people of the opposition instead of the 90% that were looking at him. So he's focusing too much on little things, answering to one Sportingista on Facebook and stuff like that. He should be focusing on us, the 90%, the one that voted for him. The 10%, there's nothing you can do. If they're not going to like you, they're not going to like you. So stop focusing on them, answering every question or every stupidity they mention, and focus on us. And then take the high road. And that's all I got to say.
I agree 100%. All right. We'll get more into the Bruno Carvalho just a little later on. I guess there might not be much more to say, but we'll still hit on that point. Let's talk about the game today, because there's a lot of talking points on today's game. Sporting won 1-0 against Atletico Madrid at home. Unfortunately, the 1-0 wasn't enough to get our aggregate score up. We needed at least 2 goals to tie the aggregate, 3 goals to win it, barring that Atletico didn't score any goals, which they didn't. Our starting 11 was a little bit of a mix-up. Sort of, quote-unquote, invento. He invented today, but in a good way because we performed fabulously. In that, we had Rui Patricio. We had a back three or a back five, depending on how you want to look at it, with Mathieu, Sebastian Coates, and André Pinto. As wingbacks, we had Christovski and Marcos Acuna. In the midfield, we had Bataglia and Brian Ruiz, Bruno Fernandes, and Gelson Martins. And up front, we had the goal scorer, Freddie Montero. I'll start with Bruno because I started with Steph last time. Bruno, give me your thoughts on the game.
It was a hell of a game, man. I think JJ got the tactics spot on. I loved how he was playing the high line. He was playing the offside trap. Atletico couldn't get past it, except for in the second half. But as far as the first half goes, we did an excellent job. I think Acuna was my man of the match. Battaglia with a strong second. I think those were the two best players on the pitch. Not to take away from anybody else, because I think as a whole we played with a passion. The players played for the shirt. It was great to watch. But going back to Acuna, he plays with such a passion, man. He plays with that raza today, and I loved it. That tackle that Fernando Torres got from behind, he said, you ain't getting away with that. He turns back and just goes ham on him pretty much. And I love seeing that. Unfortunately, we created a lot of opportunities. Gelson, unfortunately, just can't header a ball. It seems like nothing against him. It's not what he does anyway. He's a winger. But I think that's an area he's going to need to improve on in the future. I think Brian Rees put in another exceptional performance today, and I was actually quite sad that he got subbed out, because when Ruben Ribeiro came in, I think he did absolutely nothing for us. He had no idea what to do with the ball. He looked like a player who was confused, a player with no confidence. I don't think he should be back next year at all. Again, I don't know why we got him, but it is what it is. And all in all, I can't be upset, because we did win the game. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. And Atletico is as bad as because they definitely underperformed. That back line that they have is just world class. Diego Gundin, Juan Fran, even the young kid Hernandez and Savic. I mean, they're absolutely tremendous. And I thought on a corner that Guat's got, he just so much power on it. I thought it was in, and Oblak just said, not today. It was a hell of a save. He had another great save on a Bruno Fernandes shot, and Oblak was absolutely world class. Rui Patricio came up big for us too, a couple of times against Griezmann. The only thing, I guess, the only critical or the one negative thing I have to say is JJ on the subs. The first one, Petrovic, he surprised me today, and he was playing as a center back. Probably his best game in a Sporting shirt, I think, definitely. He showed a lot of composure, a lot of technique. I have really nothing bad to say about Petrovic. Maybe that's where he should be playing, as a center back. I don't know. But what I didn't like was Ruben Ribeiro coming on for Brian Rees, because I think we lost a little bit in the midfield. And then I think Doumbia, because I knew we were going to put in another striker, but I think Doumbia should have came in earlier. I think he should have came in the 70th minute, not in the 81st. I think it was too little too late at that time, because the players were exhausted, man. Playing the way they did for that long, you could see in the second half that the level of play dropped a little bit, because it's understandable, because it's tired legs. So that's pretty much my take on the game.
Yeah, 100%. Steph, what's your thoughts on the game?
Oh, basically, I'll piggyback off Bruno, and I feel exactly the same way. I think it was one of our best performances of this season. We played full of confidence, like lions, like we expecting them to play. I mean, where has been the Sporting? If we know how to play football just like we showed today, why don't we play the same way every time? So what are we saying? That Bruno Carvalho, by saying what he said, he lit the fire under their butts, and now they're playing like they're supposed to. So they kind of agreeing with what Bruno Carvalho said. They wanna prove him wrong. Well, today they did. They did. They showed that they can play like 100%, give it all. I saw everyone like sweating their butt off, going for the second, third ball. We played much more aggressive than Athletic de Madrid. We actually embarrassed them. I hope the Spanish media today does the opposite of last week, because last week they called us a bunch of clowns. So this week they should call Athletic de Madrid today and tomorrow a bunch of clowns, because we outperformed them by a mile. We played better than them. Only at the end, Griezmann had two chances of goal, one great save by Rui Patricio, and another one he missed by millimeters. But that's because Sporting was trying to score the second goal. But besides that, Diego Costa, I didn't see him at all. We he didn't perform at all. The whole Sporting team, I have to say, two thumbs up. What a performance! Very proud of my team. But now, hey, guess what? Sunday we're playing at Belenenses. They
Hmm.
better play this. They better play the same way, because Belenenses play great football.
And it's a local
So if
derby too.
Yep.
yeah, if they play well against Belenenses the way they did at Atletico de Madrid, I have no doubt that we win and we'll have our weapons back.
Yep.
For sure, we'll have Fabio Cointran and we'll have Bas Dos. They didn't play today; they were rested, and maybe William Carvalho. It's a maybe, because I think they're trying to get him at 100% for Wednesday against Porto, which is that both games are important, but we know why the Porto game became more important, because technically, and to be totally honest, that's the only trophy now that we can conquer. The Liga Nós, we have to wait for people to slip. We 6 points away from Benfica, five from Porto. I mean, it's a lot of moving parts.
Yep.
Mathematically, it's possible, but realistically, let's be realistic. It's very shaky. But nevertheless, about the Athletic Madrid, the game, we outperformed the second. This is a team that's in second position in Spain. We didn't lose 5-0 against Basileia or Liverpool. Don't tell me Liverpool is better than Atletico Madrid. Well, maybe now it is, because they actually playing pretty good, Liverpool.
No, I don't think
Uh,
so. I don't think they're better than
well,
Athletic.
well, they won 2-1 against Manchester City, and they in third place in the Premier League.
Opa, mas
So, so
but Manchester City always craps the bed going up against Liverpool.
I know it doesn't matter, but they're playing good football.
Eh.
There's a lot of static.
Yeah, there is. Might be Danny.
Hello?
Yeah, Danny.
Hello, hello. Is it still static?
No,
Yeah,
you're good
because
now.
My thing
they
just
have.
signed me off, man. My bad, guys. Anyways,
Well,
continue.
that's cool. Anyway, to wrap it up with the Athletic Madrid game, we played well. You know, by we didn't just need a little bit of luck to score the second goal. Oblak was amazing. He pulled up some amazing saves. I still remember a clear shot to go for Montero, but inside the box, but very weak, easy for him to defend. But hey, we didn't have that little star that sometimes you need. But you know, it's one of those games that I've always said. Uh, Hello.
Yeah, yeah, we hear you.
Okay. It's one of those games I've always said, listen, even if you play well but we don't win, this time we won, but we basically out of the Liga Europa, I would still support my team, and here I am. We out of the playoffs, we out of the Liga Europa, but I'm very proud of my team. We put a great performance. So I would never criticize my team when they play well and within advance. It's just the way it is. Football is funny. Look at Real Madrid yesterday. They
Yeah.
lost 3-1, and they advanced with a very shaky penalty, because if it was in the other side of the field, I don't know if the referee would have called it against Real Madrid. I don't know if they would have, you know? And that's the debate. They called
Yeah.
against Juventus. Would they've called against Real Madrid? It was a shaky penalty, 50-50. But anyway, so Sporting played well, and I'm very proud of being a Sportingista, and great performance. And it just shows me that maybe Bruno Carvalho was correct in a few things he said. So
Yep.
I'm just expecting them to play the same way on Sunday and Wednesday, and we're more than capable of winning every single game from now on. Now we don't have any more 2 games per week, exception for the following week because we will play Sunday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all. Great performance. Very proud of my team. Great performance. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. Just to give in my 2 cents really quickly, because I think you guys hit it in perfectly. Um, you can't fault the boys when they put a hard performance like that. You can't really fault them. We did more than enough to get at least 2 goals today. The Kwach was a big save on Oblak. Jelson should have done a bit better, but okay, that's not his game. I get that. But that was a big opportunity missed. The Brian Ruiz shot, what an incredible save from Oblak. What an incredible shot from Brian Ruiz. And then, of course, Monteiro scores the goal. I'm just mentioning this because Diego Simeone said that the fair result would have been a tie because they only had 2 opportunities. Griezmann, one, I don't see that to be true because you have to bury those chances, and 2, nonetheless, those are your only 2 opportunities. I think over the 2 legs, we had at least like solid 8, like clear cut chances to score that we didn't. The only sad thing is this just it means that the goal missed by Freddie Montero in the last leg is that much more important. Because if he scored that goal, we would have went through. But all right, what can you do? You can't fault the boys.
But at the same time, you could say also if our sandbags didn't make those 2 mistakes,
100%. Yep, you're right.
For 2 goals. It could go both ways.
For sure, I think that the story of this tie for us is us making too much mistakes. That is 100% for sure.
Yeah, we beat ourselves.
Yeah,
Yep.
Exactly. Yep. It's not that losing 2-1 to, like I mentioned last week, losing 2-0 to Atletico, losing 2-1 on aggregate to Atletico is nothing to be ashamed of. It's not another. I'm not going to mention that team, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. This is Atletico Madrid. It's just the manner of which we lost it is definitely upsetting. And yeah, no, it was an exceptional game. I'm surprised we played so well by playing 3 in the back, because the last few times we played 3 at the back with Jorge Jesus, it hasn't panned out well. I'm glad to see that they've worked on it more and more in the training ground. This is a decent tactic to go to if playing away or playing a big team, which is coming up. We have 2 big games coming up against Porto and Benfica, and of course Belenenses. But I think with Belenenses we can attack more comfortably and play a lot more comfortably than we did these 2 ties and against those big teams. And yeah, heartbreaking the result, but the performance it leaves us proud, because at the end of the day we're still quote unquote little old Sporting. Anyways, Steph, I know Bruno mentioned it. Steph, who's your man of the match from today? There's a lot of standout performances, but who do you think was our best player today?
I don't have a best player. That I love. I love the team, the team spirit, the team chemistry. That's my play of the game. It's the team itself. We play quickly, first touch. When we had to hold the ball, we held the ball. But I don't have a man of the match. Everyone played really well. They just showed that they're great professionals. And when you point the finger at them, and you heard their pride, they actually they could play some amazing football. And today they played some amazing football. I mean, Gelson Martins, if he wants to one day get a Ballon d'Or, he's gonna have to improve a lot, because then it's just gonna be he could have been. Because I love the guy, don't get me wrong, but he's taking too long to evolve as far as with his head, with his left foot. And believe me, those big clubs, when they send their assistant coach or their scouting department, they take your notes. They take your notes. The guy is good. He's explosive. He's great. But with his head, he sucks. With his
Yeah, he
left foot,
can't
he sucks.
finish. He can't finish in general.
Yeah,
Even with his right, he doesn't score that many goals.
yeah. And he's taking too long. If he wants to go next year and make the jump, I wish him good luck. But he could end up like Renato Sanches, you know. I hope not. Of course not. You know what I mean? Or João Mario is struggling too.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, these players have to put in their head. If I want to be like Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, I have to get better and better. I have to stay. I have to be in practice maybe later than everybody else, and I perform everybody else because I suck with my left foot. I suck with the headers. So let me practice a little bit longer, you know. And I don't know if he does that. Maybe he does, but from what we've seen, it's like game after game. Oh, he's not good with his head. Well, he should be because you've been with Sporting for X amount of time under the same coach, so you should be evolving. That cross was phenomenal from Acuna, and he went unnoticed. The cross, when it's not a goal, it goes unnoticed. We noticed it because we Sportingistas, but the other fans from other clubs, they're not going to pay attention to it because it was not a goal. Imagine if that cross, that superb cross, if Justin Martins at least he made Oblak pull up a good save. He totally missed it, but not even hit the target. He missed it. If it would have been a goal, everyone would have been talking about what a great cross, and he went unnoticed. But anyway, so the whole team had a great performance, but in a negative note, Justin Martins is taking a little bit too long in evolving with his headers and left foot. And hey, the Sportingistas will get mad at me because I'm speaking the truth. Watch it, and then give your comments on Twitter and let me know, and you'll see what I'm seeing. That's all.
100%. And we encourage this interaction on Twitter, by the way, to all those listening. Please hit us up with your thoughts and everything on Twitter, or even on here on YouTube on the comments. We'll definitely get back to you. All right. Let's quickly. I know Bruno, you spoke a bit about it. But what do you think? Like the substitutions that you mentioned, do you think it was the right personnel? I know Petrovic was kind of forced, and we had no other option. But mainly Ruben Ribeiro. Do you think the performance that Brian Ruiz was having? Do you think Ruben Ribeiro should have came in? Do you think maybe somebody else, or what did you make of that whole situation?
I think Ruben Ribeiro should have been left at Rio Ave. No, in all honesty, two things. The Petrovic one scared me, but it was a forced stop. I actually thought Bellinha was going to come in, but like I said, credit to Petrovic. He had a hell of a game. Maybe center back should be the position he plays instead of midfield. I don't know. Maybe JJ found a gem there. I don't know. But Ruben Ribeiro is just if you guys watch him, he offers absolutely nothing. I know he's had one or two games where he's done decently, like above average, but he's just a player that does nothing. Literally, he can't cross the ball. He can't shoot. He looks for help every chance he gets because he can't do anything with the ball. There's no creativity. I think it was a really, really bad call on JJ to go after him in January. And the only other thing is Doumbia. I think he should have came in a lot earlier because I think he came in. It was the 81st minute. I would have put him in the 70th minute, especially because we needed a goal. I don't think Doumbia, who's been out for so long, 10 minutes, I don't think that was enough for him to get warmed up. I think he needed a good 20, 25, maybe even half an hour. So those are just my takes on the subs that JJ made. So he got one out of 3 right.
Yeah, I agree. It's a shame that Rafael Leão was injured because I think this game would have been really good for him. He would have used his pace to get in behind Godin and Savic, and he was also a bit taller than Doumbia. Towards the end, we were really crossing in the ball to essentially nobody because unfortunately Bastos wasn't there to collect it. I agree 100% with you. Ruben Ribeiro was the wrong guy. I still don't forget just towards the Christmas break, he was rumored to Porto and to Sporting, and me and Steph were talking about it, and we were saying how we think he's going to Porto, and we even hope that he's going to Porto because He's not really Sporting quality. He's he's like a Heldon. He's like a Hernani, where he's not that. He's good for like the littler teams in Portugal to really cause a threat against us. He's not good enough to play for us, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I agree 100% with you there. I have really nothing else to say about this game aside from Fernando Torres could have probably gotten a red card if that was a Sporting player. I see us getting a red card for that. But okay, I'm not too upset about that not being a red card. That was, hit or miss. Steph, any last thoughts on the game? Anything you left out? Anything you want to say about this game?
Yeah, about the subs. I'm going to put my 2 cents really fast.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Don't worry about it. The subs, I agree with almost everything you guys say with one exception. I wouldn't have taken out Brian Ruiz. I would have taken out Bruno Fernandes because he was exhausted. Brian Ruiz was actually the one dispersing the game. He was actually playing great at that time. Bruno Fernandes, I love him, but he's exhausted. He's been playing every single game. So, a lot of Sporting users on Twitters, when we give our opinion, we're just giving our opinion. We don't represent Sporting Club Portugal. We're just fans. So, we're not experts either. But, I see what I see, and what I saw was Bruno Fernandes being totally exhausted. At one point, he was pacing himself going back. And Brian Ruiz, believe it or not, he still looked good. So I think he should have come out. And instead of Ruben Ribeiro, I would have put Rafael Barbosa. Why not? He's been playing great in the B team, and you had him on the bench. Why not try a young player that's been playing great? If you put him on this stage of the game, he probably is going to be mesmerized, and he's going to be playing great. And and Doumbia, we gave him so many chances, and I agree with Bruno. He should have come in maybe in minute 70, but even if he did, I don't think he would have had any impact. And again, I would have pulled the new kid, Elvis Balde. Call me crazy, but if JJ called them those two, it's because they have quality now.
And they trained with the team. It has to be that.
So why not put two puts with fresh legs? Maybe like they'll be super motivated. Could have done something crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Doumbia, even coming in at the 81st minute, he still played 12 minutes with the additional time of 3 minutes. He didn't do jack shit. He tried to dribble half of the defense and he lost the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, and the same thing happened last game he played, and last game he played, and last game we played. Doumbia was a fuck up. It was a bad contratação. That's it. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah.
I've given up on Doumbia a long time ago.
Yeah, don't give me the bullshit que a gente não sabe aproveitar o jogador. Come on, we gave him a lot of chances. It's not that JJ didn't give him chances. He gave him chances, but
I mean, yeah,
I don't know. He doesn't click at Sporting, and it happens sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the truth hurts. Like, the truth hurts. Like, I get it. They're playing for Sporting. I get it. We should be supportive. I get all that. But God damn it, if you suck, you suck. Like, we have to be honest. We can't sit here and pretend, Ruben Ribeiro, who knows? Maybe next year he's going to be a star. No, the hell he's not. I'm not going to sit here and lie and look forward to Ruben Ribeiro next season or even Doumbia. These are players that should not be on the team. We messed up. Okay, let's admit it. We messed up. Let's get rid of them. Let's bring in you guys. That's it.
That's it. I mean, I think Doumbia is an awesome player, great player, but he's not a good fit for Sporting. I think his cycle is over.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I think with Doumbia, that's exactly it. I think Ruben Ribeiro is the only one where, like I mentioned before, he's these type of players in the Portuguese league that look good enough for a big team, but aren't. You know what I mean? He's 30 years old. I think if he really was that great, he would have gotten a chance or a look in earlier. He wouldn't have, let's not forget, Ruben Ribeiro has been in multiple different Portuguese teams. He's been in Rio Ave. Before Rio Ave, he was in Boa Vista. And before Boa Vista, he was somewhere else that I can't remember. He would have been on the radars he would have been on our radars or on Porto radars or on Benfica radars a lot a lot sooner than now in his 30s or in his late 20s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Remember the player Caicedo?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, yeah.
My girlfriend's Ecuadorian. I never let him forget about that.
Okay.
He comes from there.
So remember, he went to Spain, and he's doing great in Spain.
Yeah.
And it's just sometimes in certain teams, players don't. It's not a good fit. It happens. Dumbia might go to a Spanish team or a French team, and they might have a great season. And we might say, "What the hell happened?" He just didn't fit in with the tactics, with the chemistry of the team, and sometimes it happens. You know, like Jonathan Silva, he was also at Sporting, and now he's doing great in Italy. So you know, it just happens, and you know, to move on with our podcast, you know, the substitutions, I would have done it differently. I know what JJ did. He looked at the experience. I'm going to put Ruben Ribeiro because he has experience. I'm going to put Dumia because he has experience. But the experience didn't bring anything extra into the game. And
let me just piggyback on something you just said prior, because I actually liked it a lot, where you were saying Rafael Barbosa for Brian Ruiz. I actually think that would have been the better move.
Not for Brian Ruiz.
For Bruno Fernandes. Okay, I would just change it up and just say Brian Ruiz, only because towards the end, Brian Ruiz started looking like he was gassed as well. And also Bruno Fernandes is that kind of player that at any, switch of, anything, he can create something out of nothing, out of nowhere. He's definitely our star player this season. But either or, I'll say this. I think Rafael Barbosa should have came in for Brian Ruiz if JJ was going to make that switch, simply because when Ruben Ribeiro came on, he went out wide, and our midfield got so much more, open and more. That is really the main cause of Griezmann going in twice and, obviously not being good enough for big boy Rui Patricio, which should be his. I think Rui Patricio is going to show up in Griezmann's nightmares again. But I think that move would have been better, just because we would have had another central player. We'd have had somebody else in that, midfield to at least, if he does get too afraid of the occasion, it's definitely a hit or miss. You can be a hungry young player dying to get his opportunity and he shines, or he could be, very little and fall nervous and fall small of the occasion. It's a hit or miss for sure, but at least we would have had somebody there in that midfield to at least solidify it more and not have those two counterattacks that could have killed our dream a lot sooner than at the end of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But you know what? Guess what? Now we'll never know.
For sure, it's easy to say this, and it's easy to say this in hindsight. But of course, now you never know.
We'll never know because the Puto Rafael Barbosa, he's got a good kick from the outside. I've seen him scoring some amazing goals from no juniors in equipe B. Some amazing goals. This kid, since I've watched Sporting TV, has an amazing kid, an amazing vision, and great final pass. Great. And, that's what pisses me off sometimes. Today, JJ was good with the tactics. I'm not putting him down. But sometimes you have to come up com copo de gênio and not be afraid to say, olha, vou pôr o puto, ou vai tudo ou nada, vai 8 ou 80. Because at that point of the game, you need a second goal. So Ruben Ribeiro is more of a, like you said, like with Hernani and the Porto doesn't belong to Porto. Like,
Helden.
Elden.
The Sporting.
They will never be good for the big three, but good enough for Braga, Guimarães, and Belenenses.
To challenge us. Yeah.
And we made a mistake in the winter. It's not the guy's fault. It's not Ruben Ribeiro's fault, but he's not a Sporting player by any means. No, I totally agree with you guys.
Yeah. All right, Bruno, anything that you think you might have left off before we talk just a little bit more about the Bruno Carvalho players' Sporting situation?
As far as the Atletico game goes, no, not really. Like I said, it was proud performance. Simeone I think he got the changes right in the second half to make Atletico more sound defensively. We weren't as potent as we were in the first half, but I also think that's due to the players being exhausted from running up and down pretty much the whole game. So that's it.
All right, let's get a little bit more back into the Bruno Carvalho situation. I'll start this off. Steph or Bruno, you guys can fight for who you want to answer. I think I know your answer, but we'll just get a little bit more deep into it. Maybe I'll play devil's advocate. Is Bruno Carvalho at fault for the change in attitude or these performances? Can we blame Bruno Carvalho for, lighting a fire under these players' ass?
Okay, you mean can we give him credit?
Give him credit. Blame him. I say blaming just because, people want to blame Bruno Carvalho for
everything
and everything, especially the rivals across the street, which I don't give a fuck about. But, I just said that intentionally.
Gotcha. That I don't give two fucks. I don't give two fucks about the opinion of Benfica supporters. I can care less what they think.
Yeah.
Now, their opinions counts nothing for me because they want to make Bruno Carvalho look like a vilão meaning in English the bad guy, when Pintecost is more corrupted than Al Capone himself, and Orelhas is more corrupt than the Italian mafia. With that said, Bruno Carvalho is at fault because he's a true Sportingista and he bleeds Sportingista. And he, like you said at the beginning of the podcast, he can separate being a fan and a president. And I think he's learning now the hard way. Well, I'm hoping he has learned it the hard way. But, but nah, I don't give two shits about the opinion of Benfica supporters. Estou-me a cagar para a opinião dele. But Sportingistas, yes, of course. Oppositions, the ones that agree with me and disagree with me, I'm always going to listen to them. I value their opinion very much. But going back to Bruno Carvalho, what he did with the posting on Facebook, he could have avoided it. But why was this post more important than the other ones? That's because the media blew it out of proportion. Yep. It was more the media than anybody else because they needed an scapegoat. If you look at the Portuguese TV now, it's embarrassing. They stopped every show just to talk about Bruno Carvalho.
Yeah,
have you noticed that?
It's a joke.
That.
And he just had a kid. He had a kid this weekend, and even still, they were talking about his wife and all of that. It was disgusting at points. Definitely disgusting.
That was CMTV, o Correio da Manhã. Essas merdas dessa gente que não valem piso.
But see, this is the problem. We know Correio da Manhã is a piece of shit, but why is Bruno Carvalho then calling in that station? That's the only thing that I hate.
Why. He was desperate. He made a mistake. He was out of control. Listen, now that all of a sudden everyone became a doctor in Portugal. Everyone is a psychologist.
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen that too. That's such a joke.
Oh,
everyone got their degree in a week.
My goodness. I've never seen so many doctors. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think I even saw a veterinarian. O gajo está aqui a falar de cavalos ou quê, caralho? But, I was like, my God, the guy he was just talking about Sporting, and all of a sudden they stopped talking about vouchers, emails, a PJ. O Benfica, de repente, são uns santos do caralho. Nada se passa agora. It's amazing, isn't it? They're focusing on our president, and then we have a bunch of losers que estão à procura de taxa. All they want is take his place because they want to make money. Let's not be fooled. A lot of these supposedly candidates, when there's not even elections, they're already saying, estou preparado para ser presidente. There's no elections, buddy. Ainda não há Assembleia Geral marcada. Why are you saying you a candidate? Only count, man. Wait until May at least, or June, or summertime to debate these things and call a general assembly. There's one schedule, but that's for financial purposes. It's not even for that. There's one schedule for the 4th of May. I just read on the newspapers. mas não tem nada a ver com a confusão. It's something completely
Right.
different. They're trying to delay some source of obrigações for September. So nothing to do with this. But to wrap it up, so then Bruno can talk a little bit about it. Bruno Carvalho is at the fault because the way he said things, but to Sporting players, not to Benfiquistas or Portistas. I don't know why they're butting their nose into our business because I don't give a shit what happens in their house. So why are you putting? But you should be concerned about the emails and vouchers and all that stuff and the refugees you buy. Don't worry about us. But anyway, I hope Bruno Carvalho has learned from this experience. I think he has. The first step he did was to close his Facebook account. So you're no longer going to be using the Facebook account. I don't know from any source. I just know from little pieces and bits of from the newspapers. So it's not a guaranteed source, but apparently he's resting now because of the birth of his little beautiful girl Leonor. Parabéns também ao nosso presidente.
Mhm.
Um, and he's supporting his wife Joanna. She just gave birth. So now he's resting, taking care of his family, and that's what he should be doing. So he can recharge his batteries. The guy was in a lot of stress. He wouldn't even sleep. This guy, I mean, he lived, he breathed, he ate, he drank Sporting. That's all he did. And some people don't realize that this guy really cares about Sporting. And me personally, my own humble opinion, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a veterinarian, I'm just a simple guy that lives in Middletown in Delaware. I really think he was really stressed out,
Yeah.
you know. And then taking this break is very needed. And I hope what he does is basically shows that he takes a step back. He apologizes to the fans. He shouldn't have said what he said after the game. Passo Ferreiros. I'm against that too. Eu não sou da vossa família, vou chamar nomes à vossa família. He shouldn't have said that. That's really not the way to be as a president. And if he's capable of apologizing to the fans, and instead of him speaking so much, he has Nun Saraiva. He has these vice presidents. Let them do the fight for you. You can do things behind closed doors, you know. So I don't think he should quit. I'm against that. That
Mhm.
I don't agree. I don't agree. Il dimitir. I don't. I think he's still capable. I think we owe him one more chance at least. Let's give him one more chance. Let's see what he's got, and let's see if he's learned from his mistakes. If he can basically be quiet and only speak when he needs to speak, because he'll have to once in a while. But if he does it carefully, without trying to answer those 10%, I don't know why he focuses so much on those 10%. Focus on me, on you, on Danny, on Bruno, on Brito, on José, João, Pedro, or
Yeah.
everyone that supports him. And the 10% they want attention, let them talk to the wall. Who gives a shit what they think? They try to get on your nerves, and they get on his nerves, and then they win by his little outbursts. He has to stop with that. But what he said was actually correct. The team played better against Paços Ferreira and played better Atlantic Madrid. He woke them up big time. But if I was Bruno Carvalho today, I would go to the balneario, I would talk to my players, and I would tell them, listen, I apologize, and I shouldn't have said what I said, and it won't happen again. You can trust me. And then I would tell them, but you guys shouldn't have posted what you did on Instagram after we decided to have a meeting. Before the meeting, you posted that on Instagram because that's what happened.
Yeah.
Eles combinaram uma reunião, and then before the reunião, they posted on Instagram the players, o comunicado deles. So they shouldn't have done that too because they forget who pays them. It's us, the fans. I pay as minhas cotas. Whoever buys the game boxes, os patrocinadores, and that's one thing that people. I'm going to finish up in 2 minutes. That's one thing
Take
that
your
people
time, bro.
don't realize. If you ask for this president to quit, do you know how much money we're going to be in the hole? Because when you ask for uma Assembleia Geral, it's expensive. Now, this president and this administration, they have a lot of deals with the bank and patrocinadores and parceiros and partners. When you replace the whole administration and put a new one, those deals now, it's very shady because now you're dealing with a totally different administration. So the best thing, the worst case scenario would be for him to quit, pedir demissão, and then I believe the vice president of Vieira, Carlos Vieira, and then him replacing him and staying up until the full mandat or until the summertime. Okay, so there's not a lot of changes, and then financially we don't go in the hole because the estimation is like $30 million if we go for new elections in the hole, $30 million, the euros in the hole. If we go for new elections, that's how much they estimate. So that's a very bad move. I don't know why the Sportingistas, the cops slates, just because they were born in Portugal and in Lisbon, they think they're more Sportingistas que eu. So caralho. Because they don't think. They only think about themselves. They're very selfish. They think, oh, I want to be the president for lá ter tacho. Because the minute you go to Sporting, everybody's going to get to know you. So if you have uma empresa, it's going to go up. Your stockings, your merchandise, you're going to sell more and more and more. So these people, they're very selfish. But, so Bruno can be next. All I can say is I like what I see. Bruno Carvalho's taking some time off. He's gonna have to do a lot of behind the closed doors, a lot of deals, a lot of apologies. I'm pretty sure he's made some phone calls because he has to. He has to make some phone calls to some partners that were pretty upset. He has to promise them he won't have any more of those outbursts. And then if he does all that, if he's successful behind closed doors, I think people will be capable of forgiving him. And then if he wants to forgive, ask for, say, I'm sorry to some people behind closed doors, be it. He doesn't have to be publicly. And if that's the case, I think he should still stay. But if he does it again, I don't know if he can last for too much longer. If he has another outburst like that, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. But uh, after this, if he still no emenda, if he doesn't learn, I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to stay for another 3 years because he has 3 years left. I don't know if he can last that long. He has to. He has to be able to delegate. Delegate. You're the president. Delegate. Deixa o Nuno Saraiva falar. Deixa os teus vice-presidentes falar. Let your coach talk. Let your assistant coach talk. Let your team manager André Geraldes falar. Why is André Geraldes there then? He should be talking. You know, he's the manager of the team. Our president should not be talking so much. He should only be talking at Assembleias Gerais. E quando vai aos núcleos, but only good things, never bad things. He has to stop, trying to fight everybody. He has to stop doing that. And that's what I got to say.
All right, Bruno, give me your 2 cents on this whole situation. And also, what are your thoughts of the timing? I know we talked about it a bit on Twitter, the timing of the post just before the Paços Ferreira game. I personally didn't like it. I know you probably didn't either, but speak a little bit about that too, as well as the whole situation that's been going on.
Yeah, it was funny because I had no idea he had posted something until I saw. I think it was Bruno Brito had posted something on Twitter, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Yeah. Like here we go again. And it was definitely the wrong move, especially because it was. The game was pretty much almost at kickoff, and you're going to be sending another post. Like, come on, man! Like, use your head sometimes. And I think Steph hit it spot on. I think if he has another outburst like this, if it becomes like another big scandal like this, I think he's done. I think he's out. So I think this time away from the team is going to do good. He needs to recuperate, and he needs to come back with a stronger mentality, definitely a stronger mentality, because he needs to separate being a fan and being a president. When you're a president, you're held to a higher standard. Let us who do these podcasts, let us talk, let us criticize. Don't worry about that. You just worry about, I think our ultimate objective, I think we can all agree on, is winning the league. So let's focus on that. Now, other things, these Benfiquistas and these Sportistas that are on Twitter, putting their 2 cents and saying he should be gone. Well, of course you want him gone. Porto haven't won a goddamn thing since he's been there. Of course they want him gone. Benfica, yes, they've won, but have they won clean? I don't think so. You can say they can say this and they can say that, but I'm 100% positive that there's going to be a corruption. Like, there's just so much evidence.
When there's smoke, there's fire.
You don't have to go too far. We don't have to go to 2 months ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. You just have to go to
this year.
90 plus 2 minutes against Tubo.
I was just about to say.
Yep. I mean, if you anybody that says that's a penalty, deve estar drogado, meu.
Yeah.
O gajo dá mais 2 passos e depois o vento soprou e ele caiu.
And then on top of that, Stubble doesn't even get the penalty that they deserve when they're 1-1.
Exactly.
Yo, exactly. I'm telling you guys right now, Porto's not winning the league.
I've been saying since November, Porto's not winning the league.
No.
I think it's coming back.
Benfica made this investment of Pentacampeão 5 years ago. They already bought this championship 5 years ago.
Yeah, and let me.
Já está encomendado há muito tempo, meu.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too much into it either because we're talking about Sporting, and honestly, I don't care. Kagay and they, it is what it is. But anywho, going back to the Bruno Carvalho subject, I think a lot of Sportingistas, maybe not a lot, but I think people forget what he's done for this club. Look at the pavilion that we have, absolutely beautiful. Look at all the modalities that we have, that we've increased. We're winning everything. Yes, I understand everyone wants the league title, but people also need to stop looking at that as the only negativity. I can't stand it. It's not like we're not winning anything. Okay. Mm-hmm. I understand we want to win more. I completely understand that. I want to win more too. But hell, you go back 5 years ago, we couldn't win a goddamn thing. We couldn't even get into third place. And we had financial problems. But now you guys want to sit here and tell me that we haven't won enough, or we haven't won this, or the league is all that matters. So forget who our president is. He could be the biggest piece of shit. But you know what? If we win the league, then it's all good. No. I'm sorry, but no. There's a right way of doing it, and there's a wrong way of doing it. And I don't think he's going to quit. I definitely don't think he's going to quit at all whatsoever.
As he shouldn't.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I think some of the fans just need to reevaluate their positioning. Now, that being said, I think Bruno Carvalho definitely deserves criticism because of the post that he posted, especially before the game. I think it was stupid. But at the same time, hell, we're 2-0. We are 2-0 since he posted that. And the players, I'll tell you what, I've seen more fight out of the players these past 2 weeks than I have seen all goddamn season. So don't tell me that his comments didn't light a fire up underneath their asses, because it did. It freaking did. And you know what? If that's what it takes, then I'm fine with it. Now, that being said, let's not do it anymore. I think the message is clear. I think the players received the message. Hey, I'm not fucking around anymore. If you want to be here, you're going to be here. If you think you're bigger than the club, then we'll let you go this summer. So I expect a couple of players not to be here next summer, but that's for another show.
Yeah, let me just quickly mention just a few things as well, and then I'll ask you guys just one more question that I have left. Anyways. Just to hit on what Bruno said, I mentioned this with my Porto buddy today, my buddy Patrick. Another shout out to him. We've won everything domestically. We've won under Bruno Carvalho. The only thing we haven't won has been the league, and that's, like he even said, that's 36 games. That's never guaranteed. Well, especially for us, if you're another team, maybe it is guaranteed. But
right.
Anyways, you know what I mean. That's probably the hardest thing to win, and of course that's what we want. But let's not forget. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whenever Jorge Jesus' first year, let's not forget why we didn't win that league. Let's not forget that before Bruno Carvalho, we were coming consistently in third and fourth. We finished in seventh that 1 year. We were losing Taças Portugal para o Académica.
Yeah.
Let's never forget. And the only thing I want to just disagree with you guys a little bit on is when you say one more actually, maybe clarification. When you guys say one more outburst, are you talking about the against the team, or in general one more outburst like he has with other presidents like Salvador?
No. I'm saying against the team. Like
against the team. Okay,
exactly. If he comes
I kind of agree with you guys. It depends on how it is, because if the team needs another one of these next season, another kick in the pants, then I'm all for it. We're again, we have to see. But it can't just be in this manner, of course. But
you don't have to do it publicly.
Yeah, I agree.
He's got to do it behind closed doors moving forward.
I agree with that,
because if he publicize it, they're gonna kill him.
Yeah,
as we see.
The thing is, I don't know if he has done it behind closed doors. That
he probably has. He probably has. He probably has, and the players are like, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, look at some of the damn performances this season, and this is what pisses me off. I'm sorry, but people act like. I love our players, I do, but let's not act like they have been putting in these performances all year long. Like I've said before, there's a reason we are in third place, okay? Mm-hmm. There is a reason we are in third place. That's it.
All right, and just to quickly get to it, because as you guys mentioned, not the player, whether he's been saying it behind closed doors or not, I think a proof that he has been saying it kind of behind closed doors was on that post 2 hours before the game, where he mentions that there's been players that for years have been trying to leave the club and still haven't. This might be a sensitive subject for especially me, because I love the guy. I think at least the post is more towards William Carvalho than anyone else. There's not a lot of people in the squad anymore that really have been with us for years now and that maybe have been looking for that move away. Quickly, Steph, I know he's one of our captains. He's at the end of the day, Sir William Carvalho. I know we love him, but is it time for William to go simply because of maybe his negative presence in the locker room that, of course, we're speculating on, especially from this post, or do you think differently? Give me your 2 cents on that little quote from Bruno Carvalho there. That was really the big point of his post before pass.
Okay, so basically, it's very simple. It's not that complicated. His release clause is what, 45,000?
45 million, yeah. I think so, something like that.
45 million, not 1,000. 1,000.
45,000 is my release clause.
And nobody.
Sport 160, caralho. You can't do any more podcasts unless they pay us that.
I know. So basically, hey, whoever pays that, then they can get him. It's that simple. The thing is, there's contracts. So if I come to you and I say, Danny, you want to play for my club? Yeah. How much are you paying me? I'm going to pay you $3.5 million a year. You content? Yeah, but the year release clause is going to be at 45,000. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Okay, sign. Okay. So now, what's the misunderstanding? Was that in another language? You see what I mean?
Yeah,
so if a club comes and says, I'm going to give you 40 million. What do you mean 40 million? It's 45. Oh, but I'll give you this and objectives. They're saying, oh, okay, I can swing that. That's fine. Then it's fine. So whoever wants to pay him 45 million, yeah, let him go. I have no problem with that. And same thing with Gelson. Same thing with Rui Patricio. Same thing with the Coates. Same thing with Paulinho. Same thing with Nuno Saraiva. Whoever they want to buy, if they pay the release clause, then we sell them. What's the big deal? O contrato está lá. That's why contratos existem. I don't know why the players feel like victims. Oh, he didn't let me go because they didn't play you for your release clause and you signed
100%.
upon it. Yeah, and you plus they get bonuses. How much bonuses do you think they get every time they win a game against Porto, Benfica, or they go to the quarterfinals of a Liga Europa, or they go to quarterfinals of Taça Portugal? They get bonuses.
I'm pretty sure they must have a nice bonus for the league, so it's surprising why they really don't push for it. But
exactly. So my answer to you is, if somebody this summer comes along and says, "Hey, Sporting, it's 45 million." Okay, thank you. He's your player. Then let him go. Mas tem que ser assim. Não pode ser como os jogadores querem também. Mas porquê queres que o clube te venda por 20 milhões, tu assinaste o contrato pelo ordenado que tu gostaste, and then now you want the club to lower your release clause. So you shouldn't have signed the contract.
Okay.
Yep.
It's stupidity that people don't get that. Even the fans, it annoys me. The player, no one put a gun into his head and say, "Oh, assim que isso não mata." It wasn't done like that. It was done com o representante dele, o advogado dele, o pai, a mãe, filho, Espírito Santo, o vizinho, o avô, a avó. Foram lá todos com o fular e com o fulado e comprou com o vinho tinto. So, e sai de contrato e pronto. Mas qual é o mal entendido? Pá, não estou a perceber. Pronto, é só isso.
I think you hit that perfectly. So, Bruno, my question to you is, do you think there will be a mass exodus of like our most important players? And do you think there should be a mass exodus of, and when I mean our most important players, I mean the ones like Coates, like William,
right,
like Patricio, it's Bas Dost and Coentrão, who apparently have been linked with moves away after this. Do you think there will be, and do you think there should be?
I don't see Bas Dost leaving at all. I think he loves the club. I saw the one of our posts that we had put up with his comments saying that he loves JJ. He's got a coach that believes in him. He's got a coach that builds the team around him. So I don't know why Bas Dost would want to leave. Now, if someone comes and hits his release clause, that's one thing. But I don't think any other club in the world is going to hit Bas Dost's release club. So I don't see him leaving. The only two players I do see leaving is probably William. He was already linked to moves beforehand. I think he's definitely gone in the summer. And Gelson as well. I think Gelson, there's going to be teams. I think his release clause is 80 million. I know they were talking about restructuring his deal to make it 100 mil. If they do that, hell, I'm all for it. Do I think Gelson will go for 80 million? I don't know. Depends how he does this summer in the World Cup. But I think those are the two. Oh, it's 60. It's not 80. Really?
No, it's 60 million.
All right, fair enough. Well, then maybe they will. I mean, it's today's market. But the thing with the players, these new generation of players, it's not all of them. It's not all of them, but it's a good amount of them. They don't. It's back in the days when I was growing up. I'm talking about the early 2000s. There were a lot of legends, a lot of these legends that loved the club, played for the club. We're all about the club, like Totti.
That's gone.
Exactly, that's gone. It's the new generation of these players. I mean, it is what it is. Money talks, and at the end of the day, they want that move. One, obviously, to play in a higher league. It means more endorsements. It means more money. At the end of the day, it just means more money, and that's why they want it. But the thing is, if you're going to sign a contract, you have to honor it. Now, you can do what Andrea Carrillo did, which is not resign and pretty much ruin your career. That's fine. You can go that route if you like. That's cool. But basically what I'm trying to say is William's gone. I think William's gone. I think especially that last post, like Danny was saying, it felt like it was directed at him. I don't think Coates will leave either. I don't think Rui Patricio is ever going to leave at all whatsoever. We pretty much just sign him to a long time contract for the rest of his career. Build him a statue, do all that great stuff. So I don't expect a huge turnaround this summer because, one, it would be kind of stupid because I think it would hurt us. It would hurt us more than it would help us. But we do have to get, I guess, some of the bad apples, if you want to say. And as much as I love William, I love Sporting. So we have to do what's best for the club. And I think it's letting go of William.
100%. I agree with what you said. I also do love William, but I also loved Lietzen, and one of the reasons why I'm mainly behind my president is also because, one, what he said isn't a lie, but two, even my favorite player of all time broke my heart going to Porto, which is Lietzen. At the end of the day, these players are professionals. I mean, look at our squad. We have Coentrão, who played for Benfica, who said he'd only play for Benfica, and then boom, he goes to Sporting, and he admits that Sporting is the love of his life. At the end of the day, these players are professionals, and at the end of the day, although these players may be the ones winning us the trophies in soccer, they're also the ones that are wanting to leave, whether they're captains or not. They're wanting to leave for other destinations, for other adventures, and simply for more money. That's really all I have to say. Steph, do you have any news on modalidades before we finish this?
Yeah, so the Modalidades, our handball team yesterday played at home against Sad Madeira. We won 31-25. And then the good news is Porto tied at home against ABC 24-24. So we're basically in a very comfortable position in first place. This is the final phase of the championship. So basically, it's a total of 10 games. This was the third game. There's only 6 games left. So Sporting is cruising. They're doing what they're supposed to. So, and if we win, it'll be the second year in a row. We'll be campeonato. So that's outstanding. And all the other, we tied 1-1. And one of you guys mentioned that on Twitter. I don't know if it was you, Danny, or Bruno. You tweeted that, Sporting Bay.
Oh yeah, it was me.
That was Danny.
It was you.
I
thought it was you because finally we didn't lose. At least we tied. So
yeah, it was definitely me, bro. Anything sassy is me.
Yeah, that was you. I knew it was you. I think it's only me and you tweeting anyway on our account. Everybody else is lazy. Anyway,
shots fired.
Hey, 2 out of 5. It's not bad. Anyway, sometimes it frustrates me a little bit. I gotta tell you. But anyway, so the modalidades are doing great, and this weekend we'll have more. But that's it. That's all I got, and that's all I got, bro.
All right, Bruno. Anything you want to say before we take off or leave?
Hold on. What are you guys' predictions for the game this weekend?
Pues, esqueci-me. All right, all right, we'll do both. All right, we'll do both. I'll do the Belenenses game and then also the Porto game. I think Belenenses, local derby. It all depends on what happens the game before, which is Benfica Porto. Nonetheless, I think Sporting will win 2-0. And then Porto, I think Sporting will also win 2-0. Caganis, caralho.
Go, Bruno, fala, pá.
Okay, I'm gonna. Porto are gonna walk away this year from winning absolutely nothing, because we are going to come back. No, I'm serious. We're going to come back and we are going to beat them at home, no doubt in my mind. And I expect us to beat Valencia away. I'll say 3-1. I'll give them a goal, 3-1.
I like that. Steph.
Well, I gotta tell you, the new coach of Belenenses comes from Belenenses. He comes from Sporting schools. Mm-hmm. So this guy is very Usilas. He's very smart. Yeah. I don't know what he did to his players, but they play with a lot of raça, confiança.
Even the players they got in January have really helped them too. Nathan from Chelsea.
Yep, they very, very dangerous in counterattack, very fast. So if we want to win against Belenenses, we have to be totally focused at 100%. Hopefully, it's not a rainy day because rainy days usually help smaller teams. And I'm gonna say 2-1 for Sporting, but it's gonna be a good game. And if we don't play 100% like we played today, we're not gonna win. I gotta tell you, if we don't play at 100%, não vamos ganhar no Restelo. But if we play like today, we will win for sure.
I just hope the players don't look ahead at the Porto game and misjudge this game.
Exactly. And I know it sucks because we're playing Sunday and Wednesday again. But the good thing is all games are home, so we're not playing away. They can just play, go home, and rest.
Well, we're playing Valencia away, but yeah.
But that's
to Lisbon.
But that's in Lisbon. Yeah. I mean, it's half an hour by bus. You know.
But at the end of the day, it's a different stadium. It's not as great grass. You know what I mean? There's a lot of factors behind it.
Yeah, no, they have a pretty good pitch. So, but unless they take care of their shit,
Tá bem, mas não é o Avalado, claro.
O Avalado é aquela máquina, man. Tá calado. Anyway, Against Valence 2-1. Against Porto, I'm gonna say 3-1.
Wow.
All right.
3-1.
And I know this isn't Sporting. Allow me to talk about, merda por segundo. Predictions on, because at the end of the day, it is a clásico in Portugal. What are your predictions of Benfica Porto, Steph?
Benfica vai ganhar because o jogo já está comprado.
Bruno.
That was really good. Damn.
That was good.
Okay, I'm hoping it's a tie because we can make up ground if we win and take care of business. We can make up 2 points. But I'm with Steph on this one, man. I think this is already written in the history books. I think Benfica win.
Yeah,
I agree.
That
Sorry,
investment was done 5 years ago.
No, this investment was done after the Porto game earlier when Benfica had robbed them. It was already done.
Yeah.
They already paid these people for 5 years in a row. Ei, a gente paga este ano em 2013 já para 2018, meu. Já está pago. Tá calado.
I think Bruno said it best
after the penalty against Tubo. There's no doubts in my mind. There's no doubts in my mind.
Yeah. I think Bruno said it best. I think it was maybe a week ago where he said they didn't invest in January because they are in players because they already invested in the league. But with that being said, I'm hoping for a Porto win, not because I want Porto to win the league. I can care who wins the league if it's not Sporting. Only because a tie doesn't benefit us anyways because we'll be 4 points off Benfica. Even if we beat them at Alvalade, we'll be 1 point away. That doesn't help us on conquering second. A Benfica win, it will definitely not help us conquering second because Porto will still be ahead of us.
But Porto are going to slip up. I think they're going to slip up.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think so. If they lose against Benfica, I hope you're right. I hope we can at least get second. Not that it's anything to be happy about, but at least that means Champions League playoffs. There is still a chance. I hope we win the league. It's still mathematically possible. So I still believe in it.
The dream come true. The dream come true would be like this. Would be Porto beating Benfica, us beating Belenenses. We receive Benfica. We beat Benfica, and Benfica finishes in third place. We finish in first place. Support in second place. That would be a beautiful thing, bro.
Yeah.
Porto are going to slip up against Marítimo away. Remember that.
You know how.
You know what? You might be onto something.
You know how I celebrate this? If Sporting was the champion of Portugal, I would celebrate this. If I was single with a threesome.
Wow.
You don't have to be single to get a threesome. You just need one more stuff.
No, but I can't now. Forget about it.
Okay, bro. I think this is the best place. I think this is the best place to end the podcast before Steph.
Before we start going into foursomes.
All right. Anything you guys want to say before we leave, Bruno?
Just that I think this is gonna be a very pivotal week for Sporting, and I think we're gonna end up on the right side. And like I said, Porto aren't winning a damn thing this year.
Steph?
No, just Viva Sporting.
All right, and for me, all I have to say is Viva Sporting. As we said last podcast, or as Steph said last podcast, Viva Steph. If you guys appreciate these podcasts, send a tweet to us, #Viva Steph. And we'll see you guys next week where we cover the Belenenses game and the Porto game. Ciao. Viva Sporting Clube Portugal, caralho.
Viva.